Oyster Harbors Club, situated on Osterville Grand Island along Cape Cod's southern shoreline, has kept a fairly low profile during its 100 years of operation. Though very apparently worthy of the same full-throated praise heaped on its big-name peers in Massachusetts, Oyster Harbors is content to lay low within the idyllic Cotuit North and West Bays. Donald Ross could have built a series of eye-candy holes along the water, but opted for an assured inland design amid the low Cape pines. The undulating greens are vintage Ross, and recent work by Gil Hands sharpened a bevy of large bunkers. After hosting 7 Massachusetts Opens between the years 1932 and 1942, Oyster Harbors returns to the spotlight for the 2026 championship. Let's take a look at what the competitors will face. The opener is a fairly straightforward par 4. The only real trouble off the tee is a large fairway bunker that pinches the fairway in. 275 yards in the air should clear it, leaving less than 130 yards into a large green. The first green introduces a common theme, in which a raised surface is guarded by a false front and backed by a shaved fall-off. This makes the surface look much smaller than it actually is, and we'll see this time and time again. The par 5 second provides an early scoring opportunity. It's about as straightforward as can be from tee to green. A drive that skirts past the right fairway bunker, which ends around 290 yards out, will leave less than 200 yards into another expansive putting surface. A shaved catch basin beyond the green should reel in anything that comes in too hot. It's a full green light here. The best par 3s are often short ones, and that theory is exemplified by hole 3, which maxes out at 160 yards. The player's eye line is dominated by a rugged waist area and 4 deep bunkers that push up against the front half of the elevated green. The green is long and narrow, sloping from back to front. The fourth stretches out longer than the second hole, especially with a back tee tucked beyond the road. But longer hitters will still look to get home in 2 on this par 5. The hole doglegs a bit to the right, but the tree line doesn't force any sort of shot shaping from the fairway. The main defense here is an undulating green, which falls off sharply on the front edge. Five is a long, downhill par 3 that can stretch out to as much as 240 yards. The large green slopes mostly from back to front, with a wide mouth in the front to allow for run-up. Deep, cavernous bunkers flank the green on either side. The number 1 handicap hole offers 2 choices on the tee. Hit a 230-ish yard club over the right edge of the bunker, leaving yourself a mid-iron for the uphill approach, or sling a hard right to left ball around the corner. A pond on the right side of the fairway comes into play at around 275 yards from the tee, so the aggressive route demands precision. The payoff? A wedge into a tricky green surface that you can't really see from the fairway. The 7th hole is as straight as can be. Just take aim at the big American flag in the distance and let it fly towards Old Glory. The green is perhaps the most extreme example of Ross's signature turtleback design on the golf course, so good wedge players can really separate themselves here by controlling their spin and distance. The lack of shadowing in this drone shot doesn't quite do justice to the fairway's cant here. From the tee box, it may look like you want to favor the left side, but the best angle into this green is from the right, which affords a look straight down the smallish oval green, which is situated at an angle. In a fun contrast from the turtleback's 7th, the 8th is more of a punch bowl and should welcome aggressive approach play. From an elevated tee box, the 9th plays down to a generously wide landing area, though longer players will want to keep driver in the bag. as water comes into play at around 290 through the fairway. The second shot plays back uphill towards the clubhouse. A very large greenside bunker on the left, coupled with the elevation change, causes the green to look quite small from the fairway, making for a challenging second. The 10th is the second of two long par 3s, which can play as long as 230 yards, and like the 5th hole, there's plenty of green surface to play to. The green is guarded by 3 large bunkers, a false front, and a large shaved runoff at back left. The par 4 11th is a bit jarring in how different it feels from the rest of the holes at Oyster Harbors. It's long, at over 450 yards, but plays substantially downhill from a blind tee shot that welcomes a power fade. It's a quiet parkland section of the golf course, where an idyllic little pond babbles on the left side, and there's not a bunker to be found. Instead, the undulating green is framed by a wide swath of tight grass all the way around. The dogleg right 12th is a nice opportunity for those that play a left-to-right drive to cut off a good chunk of this hole and leave themselves inside 100 yards for their approach. The bunker on the right is just 250 yards to cover. This funky green features 3 distinct plateaus, making for some interesting hole location options. From the back tee, the 453-yard par 4 13th can be a real bruiser, especially into a headwind. The tee shot is relatively flat, but it's all the way uphill coming in. An enormous fairway bunker on the left isn't really in play, but the sheer height of its facing can obscure the view up to the green. With a severe false front and a raised back that falls off seemingly infinitely, but in reality shares short grass with the 10th green, this is another prime example of the green appearing much smaller than it actually is. The brawny 14th will likely prove the most challenging of the par 5s at over 580 yards. The tee shot is straightforward, but any player looking to find the green in 2 will contend with a network of well-placed bunkers. A narrow bunker in the center of the fairway starts 40 yards short of the green and stops about 8 yards from the front edge, leaving very little room to land a fairway wood short. 2 enormous greenside bunkers at left and right push right up to the surface of the amoebic green, offering some provocative hole location opportunities. Unless you're one of those people that gets freaked out by extremely straight holes, the 15th offers a pretty comfortable tee shot. It's about 270 to cover the left fairway bunker and 290 to reach the smaller one on the right. This approach shot is handsome, framed by a thick curvature of trees, 3 frontside traps, and a swath of native grass on the left that wraps around behind the green. There's another false front, and the large green slopes predominantly from back to front, though long shots will kick down into a tightly mown collection area. Good news for those looking to make up ground in the closing stretch, the par 5 16th tops out at a shade under 500 yards, playing as a sort of inverse to the neighboring 4th hole. Our drone was struggling to fight the wind here, so it can certainly play longer than the card might indicate. Wind is consistently a factor at Oyster Harbors, and difficult to detect with the low tree line, but the very muscular hawks swooping around betray its demanding impact. There's a wide layup area in front of the green, but leaving it out on the inviting right side can yield an awkward pitch over an expansive greenside bunker. For my money, the 17th is the prettiest hole on the golf course and wouldn't look out of place on the fabled eastern edges of Long Island. It's not very long, but the rollicking green surface, heaving deep bunkers, and notably askew lone tree behind the green invokes so much movement that you're left wondering if there's any level ground down there. "18 is a dogleg right, which players can cut off by flying it 267 to carry the fairway bunker that juts in on the right side. It would take 306 to reach the bunker on the far side of the fairway on that line. The continuously mown short grass areas that tie in the first tee and practice green are beautifully framed by the clubhouse, making this an elegant finisher, but there's work to be done yet. 2 long greenside bunkers at left and right guard the surface, which slopes from left to right and features some interesting swales. Those needing a birdie to force the issue could certainly find one here, but a par is not assured. And that concludes our 18-hole flyover at Oyster Harbors Club, presented by Delta Airlines. The Massachusetts Open gets underway on June 9th, 2026. We hope to see you out there.